So Tesla stock seems to be in free fall right now, along with sales of the vehicles as well. And Elon Musk seems increasingly unhinged about the situation, or unhinged in general. That's what we're going to get into today. Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome back. So as we can see this headline here, Tesla stock slides as EV maker offers free self-driving trial in China. Free full self-driving in China may not be enough to take on Tesla's rivals there, though. And yes, we can see here Tesla's China rival Zeekr to roll out advanced driver assistance for free. So you can see that there's intense competition in China. We don't see that if we're in other countries, but there is intense competition there, increasingly so. And on top of that, BYD, the biggest rival of all globally to Tesla, really, in EVs, BYD announces charging tech that's twice as fast as Tesla's. So if this is true, and I've got no reason to doubt it, BYD is a pretty amazing operation. They were a battery maker before, so they're expert at batteries. And it says the company says it will build over 4,000 ultra-fast chargers across China to deliver on the tech. So Tesla facing big competition there for sure, just from BYD alone, but there are others. And this meme here kind of says it. This is that 9/11 meme. Sir, another disruptive Chinese automaker story just hit the wires. And that's what happened today. The share price went down, as we can see from this headline. Tesla stock slides another 5% as more firms warn of Musk-led companies' sales woes. Well, we don't know about sales. We're going to find out in that first quarter earnings coming up in April, but it's looking like sales aren't going well. And the protests as well, we'll get into more of that today. There have been arson attacks as well, and Musk is really angry about that, as the people are angry too. But we have the stock now down 53.05% just after the last session as I'm recording this. Over the past year, it's still up 31.5%. So it could have a lot more to drop, and analyst firms, investment banks have been dropping their price targets, as I reported yesterday. And we've got this meme here. Gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to inform you that Tesla stock has resumed its downward plunge. And so a lot of people are happy. Of course, the Tesla takedown protesters, which I've been reporting on for weeks now, will be happy about that. Short sellers also happy about that. But part of that Tesla takedown, of course, is to drive the Tesla stock price down, drive Elon Musk's wealth down, and decrease his power because people don't like what he's doing with Doge. And liberals are pretty angry with what's going on, but he can't understand it, which we'll get into in a minute. But Tesla board members don't seem too happy about what's going on either, if this is any indication. Look at the actions. Tesla board members, executives sell off over 100 million of stock in recent weeks. Now that is substantial. Now it has to be said that the board members have become very rich off Tesla stock, selling over past months and even years. I read somewhere that the chair, Robin Denholm, is worth something like $500 million at this point. So they're not about to question Elon Musk, I don't think. So Fred Lambert says, as long as this is true, corporate puffery, in quotes, is going to be through the roof. So his lawyers, Elon's lawyers, have called corporate puffery what he says, the optimism that he has in his projections, rather than, calling it fraud, and there has been alleged fraud. It's corporate puffery, and they did win a court case based on Elon's corporate puffery that he engages in all the time over the past 10 years about FSD and other things. But Motorhead says here, Musk pledged 238 million shares of Tesla to get loans from banks. That's 58% of what he publicly owns in Tesla as of now. Imagine what happens if Musk gets a margin call. So that would happen if the share price dropped too much. You get a margin call and have to sell some stock. That's the implication here. But I don't know if this is true. I don't know where that information comes from. I don't know if that's true. But if it is true, that would be a risk for him. People know that he's one of the richest people in the world, the richest person in the world, but he does have loans as well. and Tesla stock is a huge part of his wealth, but diminishing by the day at the moment. And this Guardian article spells it out. Tesla's stake is no longer Elon Musk's most valuable asset amid stock market sell-off. Its SpaceX is Musk's private rocket and satellites business is now largest asset for the first time in 5 years. But I was looking at the stock chart not too long ago, and I saw that if you look at a 5-year chart, once it gets to further in this year, later in this year, if you look at a 5-year chart, if it stays around where it is, it really won't have done much in total over 5 years. But we've got this in terms of the company itself and the sales. This is from Electric. Tesla obtains ride-hailing permit in California. No robotaxi yet. So I saw the evangelicals saying that this was fantastic. Robotaxi's coming. You know, they got permits for this. And why isn't the stock moving? Because the stock actually went down that 5% while this news came out. And it's because it's not as good a news as it seems. Tesla has officially obtained a permit in California to operate an internal fleet for ride-hailing service, but it's not for robotaxi yet. In fact, the automaker hasn't even applied for an autonomous driving permit yet. So that's what gives it away. They haven't even applied yet. And Elon's been talking about Austin. I think what they probably will have is a limited service in Austin that's much like Waymo, but also teleoperated supervisors, I would say. So Toronto excludes Tesla from EV incentive due to US trade war. So this is where politics comes in, and this is just part of how politics is really affecting Tesla, I think. The trade war, the tariffs affecting Tesla. Canada is retaliating and against Tesla in particular, and this is one of the ways. Tesla already starts to offer 0% interest on new Model Y in China, showing weak demand. So this is a show, you know, they're having really good terms, 0% interest, showing that intense competition again in China. There really is intense competition there. It's not just from BYD. Now, Tesla's gamble on MAGA customers won't work. Also, this is in Business Week, and Bloomberg says this isn't the first time Musk has shown he doesn't understand how brands function. So they're referring to the Tesla steering right. I've seen people say they sold their Tesla because it pulled to the right. And will MAGA people buy Teslas? Now this remains to be seen. Will Elon be able to convince MAGA people to buy Teslas? Trump's been doing his damnedest to do that as well, out on the lawn of the White House trying to sell Teslas like an infomercial. That was crazy. It's crazy times. It was just like Trump was a car salesman. Now this, speaking of the protests, and this is Times Square in New York. So somebody's bought advertising space here, I guess, to do that. And that's one of Elon's conspiracies. He's saying, what are the left-wing billionaires who are, you know, funding the protests and everything? But I think he underestimates the people, the power of the people. This is based on Fire Elon Musk. And so there's him and Trump in Times Square. It says he fired 6,000 veterans, so people were angry about D.O.G.E, and he cut 502 million in education. This is what people are angry about, and Elon fails to see this. He really fails to see why people are disliking him. And here, this says it all too. This is a post on Reddit. Thrilled to finally get my new t-shirt. I hated Elon Musk before it was cool, so the vibe definitely changed on Elon Musk there, with a lot of liberals liking him and now really disliking him because of what he's been doing as politics. And I did cover this yesterday. There was a video of this. There was a 250 meter long "Don't buy a Tesla" message raked into the sand on a Welsh beach using a Tesla car. So this was an activist campaign that was pretty creative. See there, it's got the old salute, the fascist salute that he did. And we've got things like this. Please buy my cars, bro. My stock is crashing, bro. No one is buying them in Germany anymore for no reason, bro. A Roman salute is different from a Nazi salute. They're different strains. Trump trying to sell my cars didn't work. Please, bro, I just want to go to Mars. I need this, bro. There are different strains. But if you're getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. It really does help. Thanks. Now we have this. This is the darkest side of things going on. We've had arson attacks. You might have seen these videos of these, and I will cover these. Tesla set on fire with Molotov cocktails and shot with gun in Las Vegas attack. This was a targeted attack against a Tesla facility, said the sheriff. We do believe that it is isolated at this time. I don't condone this kind of behavior, but there is so much hate against Elon, and Tesla is the target. There is the protests, which are not illegal, but obviously destroying property and shooting and firebombing is definitely illegal, and I do not support this kind of thing. Somebody could get hurt, and maybe somebody will if it continues. Let's have a look at the video of this and see what exactly happened here. This was in Vegas.
Tonight, authorities investigating what they're calling a targeted attack on a Tesla repair center in Las Vegas. This dramatic video showing multiple cars in flames. According to authorities, the suspected arson occurred early this morning. When police arrived, they found 5 vehicles set on fire or damaged, and the word resist spray painted on the front of the business.
We believe the suspect approached the business wearing all black clothing, and he used what appeared to be Molotov cocktails and a firearm to conduct his attack.
Just hours before in Kansas City, 2 Tesla Cybertrucks set ablaze at a dealership there. Tonight, the FBI stepping in to help local police investigate both incidents.
To those who might think that something like this is justifiable or potentially even admirable, we want to let you know it's a federal crime. We will come after you.
While authorities say the identities of the suspects and the motivation behind the attacks are still unknown, it comes amid at least 16 reports of vandalism to Tesla vehicles and dealerships across the country as people nationwide protest Tesla CEO Elon Musk and his prominent role in the Trump administration.
We're out here because we're defending democracy.
President Trump sending a warning to those who vandalize Tesla property.
You do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell.
Tonight, Musk reposting the video from Las Vegas, calling the incident terrorism.
Elon is calling it terrorism, and we're going to get into that, what he's been saying on news and tweeting about it. He does seem increasingly unhinged about this whole situation. I mean, they say the question the motivation, but I think that's pretty clear what the motivation is, given that all the protests going on. But the vast majority of these protests are peaceful. People showing up at dealerships and protesting peacefully. The Tesla takedown movement has said that they are peaceful, but Elon is questioning who's funding this and where's it coming from, and he doesn't understand what's going on, why there's so much hate. And in this tweet, he said, the level of violence is insane and deeply wrong. Tesla just makes electric cars and has done nothing to deserve these evil attacks. He doesn't seem to understand that the protesters are targeting him because of his political activities, obviously. And this is interesting because it goes back to using that tweet that he did, but also not long ago, back in 2024, when he was concentrating on the UK, talking about UK politics, and there were riots and protests there, and he irresponsibly tweeted out civil war is inevitable, and really UK politicians really did not like that and said that he was meddling in UK politics. He's meddled in German politics, supporting the AfD, the far-right party there. So, these are all reasons that people are so angry at Elon. And this is an interview where he does talk about that. Let's see what he's got to say on Hannity here.
Why do I see people like I woke up this morning and saw that Teslas were put ablaze in one of your dealerships in Vegas? I've seen this happen all over the country. Bullets are being fired. Charging stations are put ablaze. Teslas are being put ablaze. You have experienced assassination, threats of assassination for you and your family. What have you done that warrants this? Because I see nothing that you have done except help our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything awful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and I think there are larger forces at work as well. I mean, I don't know who's funding it and who's coordinating it, because this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
You actually tweeted out, and I'll put it on the screen, the level of violence is insane. It is deeply wrong. Tesla just makes electric cars and has done nothing to deserve these evil attacks.
I don't want to make light of this, what's going on here. It's not great. There is a lot of violence. Well, I don't know if there's a lot of violence, but there are definitely attacks. The US it can be a violent place. We know there's a lot of guns around. This year started with the Cybertruck explosion in Vegas as well, outside the Trump Hotel. It turned out not to be a protester, in fact, or somebody who supported Trump. But as I said, I don't want to make light of this as a serious thing, and I don't condone any kind of violence. But the fact that Elon can't see why the problem is here, and he seems to think it's coordinated, funded. This is another part of the interview. Let's listen to this.
You're working on helping the blind see and all of these other things. Is it really come down to the basic, you're aligned with President Donald Trump, who also is a friend of mine, and that you have identified well over $100 billion in waste, fraud, abuse that our federal government never should have been spending? Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, it turns out when you take away people's, what the money they're receiving fraudulently, they get very upset, and they basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud, and they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government. And well, I guess they're bad people. Bad people will do bad things.
Okay, so it's debatable, this, because he talks about fraud, the fraud they found. They haven't really proven how much fraud they found. They said they found a lot. Fraud is a crime, so they haven't turned over anybody in terms of the fraud yet. I mean, and they haven't explained to the public where the fraud is. The things that they put on the website in terms of transparency have turned out to be, some of them, pretty bogus. So what he says here, it doesn't ring true to the public, I don't think, at this point.
Well, I know that overall, financially, in the end, yes, they can hurt you, but the people that they'll end up hurting are the people that work in your dealerships that may risk losing their job. The people that they may end up hurting are the people that work on the line and build the Teslas. They're going to be the ones hurt. And that to me is despicable on their part, just because they might have a political difference or perceived political difference.
There's definitely a political difference there. I know what's going on because I hear people, I see people in the comments, I watch a lot of commentary. People do see that the US is slipping into authoritarianism, and Elon is right there doing it, unelected. That's why people are so angry. He knows that. He must have heard that, so he's just denying it, saying that they're just about efficiency and finding fraud. But a lot of people think it's more than that. I mean, I think it's more than that. I think that what they're doing is authoritarian, and I've made videos about this, about what the plan actually is compared to what they're saying. So that the public is turning against Tesla is a false narrative. D.O.G.E designer, who's one of Elon's employees, I don't know, somebody, an Elongelical anyway, but obviously he tweets him out all the time, retweets. Breaking, fake AI-generated images are being pushed onto Facebook feeds in an attempt to spread the false narrative that the public is turning against Tesla. So that's the line, that it's a fake narrative that the public's against Tesla, and the implication that it's being pushed by Facebook. Elon, he seems to be pointing to finding these left-leaning billionaires. He seems to be implying that Zuckerberg might be involved. I don't know. Anyway, this is Pam Bondi who's talking about the dealerships and the arson in these attacks.
We have people we're locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership. They're looking at up to 20 years in prison. So if you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out, because we're coming after you. Wow. And if you're funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
Okay, so that's the U.S. Attorney General. They're threatening to come up to people. I think she meant the violence that's going on there, not necessarily the protesting, but some of the things she said It's implied that they're coming after protesters. Peaceful protesting outside a dealership is perfectly legal. And she put out this just today, or the 18th of March. She says the swarm of violent attacks on Tesla property is nothing short of domestic terrorism. The Department of Justice has already charged several perpetrators with this in mind, including cases that involve charges of 5-year mandatory prison sentences. So they're really coming down hard on these things. And, violent protesting, of course, they're going to do that. But people were mocking her because she implied that it was just for protesters as well, not necessarily violent. So eternally uncool Pam Bondi brutally mocked after threatening to jail Tesla protesters. And people, especially on Blue Sky, were saying things about this. Lol, this is a great advertisement for Tesla, making me want to go out and buy one. That's sarcasm, of course. And the wonderful free enterprise system at work where the consumer is sovereign and the state stays out of the way, implying that this is the government intervening. And so trashing the Capitol and killing cops is cool, but hold a sign at a Tesla dealership and you're done. Sure, makes sense if you're a Nazi. And here we have a tweet where Elon said, seriously, to this, it's amazing that the thing that tipped over far leftists to start committing large-scale violence is government efficiency. Well, I don't think that's not what people see is going on, not efficiency. It's Elon really, D.O.G.E being the dismantling of government by Elon. That's why people are so angry. A lot of people have lost their jobs, of course, and the fact that he hasn't gone through Congress to do it, he's unelected, all of those things. I think he knows that. He must have heard the criticism here. But this is about Tesla owners being doxxed, sell your car or stay on the list. This is not good. I don't know if this is real. I hope it's not, because doxing Tesla owners to go after them is not a great thing at all. And Elon says the left is the party of violence and hate. So he's assuming that the Democratic Party's involved here, that these extremists, these people doing these things, are not necessarily part of the Democratic Party. They might be just people that have maybe lost their jobs or just really angry and not part of a political party at all, just people who are seeing what's going on and being really angry. So he's pointing to the actual party, playing party politics with this kind of thing, which isn't necessarily the case. And this one about left-wing billionaires, the death threats aren't in my imagination, he said. Just look at social media. These are whack jobs organized by left organizations in America, funded by left-wing billionaires. I don't think he knows that. I mean, he's looking for these mysterious left-wing billionaires, assuming that there are left-wing billionaires funding even the violence. Breaking, many people are reporting that their Facebook feeds are flooded with anti-Elon and anti-Tesla posts. It is part of a coordinated effort to push a false narrative. It's a question, and Elon is implying there that that could be the case. Is he implying that Facebook's involved, Meta's involved, Zuck's involved? Seems really doubtful there, but he's like casting around in some unhinged way, trying to blame people and not really believing that the public could be actually against him on this, that they genuinely could be angry. And the New Republic says here, Elon Musk whines that everyone is being mean to him. Elon Musk truly doesn't understand why people hate his guts. The world's richest man thinks it's unfair that people aren't as interested in his products due to his far-right political views. Elon Musk took to the social media platform he owns Monday night to vent about his alleged mistreatment. My companies make great products that people love, and I'll never physically hurt anyone, Musk posted. So why the hate and violence against me? He genuinely doesn't seem to understand that the only way that people can really think that they can fight back against this authoritarian slide is hitting back at Tesla to hit his wealth, to diminish his wealth, to diminish his power. He must know that. If he's a genius, if he's a super genius, as Joe Rogan said, he should understand all this, right? But Musk had his own answer in mind. Because I'm a deadly threat to the woke mind parasite and the humans it controls. So this is how he lashes back. That's what he truly believes. So if he doesn't think that this is going to get people angry, and that's all part of it, and that's why people don't like him. A lot of people don't like him for saying stuff like that. And we have here some pushback from the courts as well that's been going on. Wow, a federal judge has ordered Elon Musk and Doge officials to reinstate basically all of USAID's functionality, saying Doge efforts likely violated the Constitution in multiple ways. People started getting really angry with Doge. He just walked into these agencies and fired a bunch of people, unelected, but with Trump's permission. This is all part of it, and he has been lashing out at the courts in an unhinged way, seeming in a really anti-democratic way. Judicial tyranny left unchecked will sink our democracy, Stephen Miller says, who's part of the administration, and Elon Musk agrees 100%. And this is about the judge that ruled that disbanding the US aid was unconstitutional. So Elon lashing out at the courts now. Now, this is really dangerous in a democracy. Could there be a constitutional crisis if Trump and Elon start lashing out at the courts like this? And again, this is why people are protesting and really hating Elon at this point. It is the only way, he says in this post, when somebody's suggesting that the US should just follow what you did in El Salvador, impeach all corrupt judges. So he's suggesting impeaching judges, which would lead to, if they just said all the judges were corrupt and we need to get rid of them, that would lead to a constitutional crisis. Lock up the criminals and investigate politicians. So really, this is all part of it, what he's doing with Doge. And as I said, the authoritarian slide here seems pretty obvious. And another one, Elon says 1,000%. The US is facing a judicial coup. So people are accusing Elon of conducting a coup with Doge when he was just going to be a consultant, just advising, and he's gone there and laid waste to multiple agencies, fired a lot of people, and some of these things have turned out to be unconstitutional, even what the judges are saying, and now they're attacking judges. So this is really something. Is he surprised that people are so angry? Really? Does he not understand that? So what do you think about this? Do you think that Elon really does understand? Why do people hate me? Why are they attacking Tesla? Does he really not see that people are angry and that's the only way that they can see to do something about it, to protest Tesla, not in that violent way, but peaceful protests, to drive down the stock price, which is what's happening, and driving down his wealth, driving down his power, and hopefully getting him out of the unelected position that he's in? Do you think that he knows that and he's just kind of gaslighting and giving some propaganda back? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. And right now, I'm going to put a link on screen if you're watching on YouTube to a related video. Do go and see that now if you want to. And I'll also put a subscribe link on screen. Do subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more of these kind of videos from me in the very near future. I'm doing them every day. And thanks to you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.